Hello everyone, it's your girl, Miss Hennessy Williams, and welcome to another episode of Drag Queen Cooking. So this is a show where I, a drag queen, Hennessy Williams, will show you all how to make delicious recipes like yummy Indian food, delicious cakes, and vegetarian delights. So today we're going to be making a recipe from a book featuring recipes from my favorite show, The Bake Book of Amazing Cakes of the Great British Baking Show. So this is going to be a British take on the cheesecake, which is something that we associate a lot with New York and the United States. I love cheesecakes. I have made 4 different recipes of cheesecakes, including a vegan cheesecake, an easy, super fast cheesecake, and also recipes that take a little bit longer than 2 hours. One actually requires you to refrigerate the cheesecake overnight. So here is the recipe that I have for the cheesecake, and it's actually called a baked cheesecake. And so again, this is a British recipe. Some of the ingredients are a little bit different than what you might find in a traditional American recipe, or of course a New York style cheesecake recipe. So the ingredients are, for the crust, you're going to need 7 ounces of graham crackers, 7 tablespoons unsalted butter, the zest of a lemon. For the filling, you're going to need 4 cups full fat cream cheese. I had to buy a lot for this. 1 1/4 cups plus 2 teaspoons of sugar, 2 teaspoons all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon lemon juice, 3 large eggs plus 2 large egg yolks, vanilla extract, 1 2/3 cups raspberries for decorating. I think I'm going to skip that, although I think I have frozen raspberries in my fridge. They're just not going to be very appetizing because they are frozen. And of course a 9-inch springform cake pan, which I have used a lot to make my cakes. And you're also going to want a baking dish half filled with boiling water and aluminum foil. So I've made cheesecakes before, so I know the whole entire drill with the bain marie. But I'll be showing you all and walking you through this as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so here you see I have my bowl. It is actually on a bunch of stacks of books. I have so many cookbooks. These are all my cookbooks. And I'll just be making the recipe for you all right here, which is a lot easier than me shifting to all sorts of different camera angles. I'm also doing this at night, so I have to keep a little bit more quieter with like all the shifting noises and stuff. By the way, if y'all are interested in the look that I have here, this is a similar sort of pretty pink look that I have for a music video for La Vie en Rose by Grace Jones. This wig is by Neapolitan, and you can also see my makeup tutorial on this look right here, which I actually filmed earlier, and I will link that below. Alright, so first thing I did was I went ahead and gathered all of my ingredients, which I have over here. So they're now out of the fridge and out of the pantry. And then I'm going to go ahead and put all of these items in here for you. The recipe does say to start off by preheating your oven to 400 degrees, so I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. So the first thing that we do to make this cheesecake is we're going to have to weigh out the ingredients. And we're going to start first with the crust. And of course we want to have a delicious graham cracker crust. So because I was actually making cheesecake earlier, I have some leftover graham crackers over here. What the instructions say to do is you want to have 7 ounces of graham cracker crust, and you want to have it in like a large freezer bag. We're just going to like crumple it up like so, and then you're going to mix it with a little bit of the lemon and the melted butter, and then that's when you're going to have your crust that you're going to press down into the pan. So I think just so that I'm accurate, I'm going to go ahead and pour this out here. I actually see that there's like a little bit of a hole in this bag, so I must have pressed too hard the last time I did this. So we're gonna make sure that we're going to be at 7 ounces. Right now we're at about 3, so take some of the graham crackers I have. I don't think you need anything name brand. I do have Honey Made from Nabisco here. Not sponsored. So let's take out more of these. And same thing, it's crumpled. 5, and that actually is about 7. Okay, we have 7 ounces right here. Now I'm going to put this in a giant new freezer bag, and then we're just going to go ahead and crumple it all up. So here we have our freezer bag here, and I'm gonna find a convenient way to put some of this dust here. Whoop. Anyway, I'm gonna take this and we're gonna crumple it up right so. Some of these graham crackers are actually getting kind of soft. They're no longer crispy, and I wonder if that's because of the heat in my kitchen right now. That is mostly ground up. I'm sure I can go ahead and press it harder into the pan later if I need to. So then it says in the recipe that you're actually going to want to stir in the melted butter and the lemon zest into the actual bag here, which is kind of different than some of the other recipes I've seen. This book is really aesthetic and it has like the directions on one page, although some recipes do take longer than one page and it's a gorgeous image. So I wonder if they maybe condensed it so it's easier, because some of the cheesecake recipes I have literally like, they last on for 3 pages. There's all of this minute detail and stuff, but I'm following the way the book says. So let's go ahead and mix in the melted butter into this bag right here. So we're gonna want 7 tablespoons of this butter right here, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it out. So that's just short of an entire stick of butter, 7 tablespoons. And then I'm going to melt it in this glass container that I have over here in the microwave, since I am an American. I found out, I think people in France might not have microwaves. I'm actually not entirely sure, but I know this one time when I threw a lemon in the microwave to defrost it, my friends looked at me like I was crazy when I was living in France for a short while. They were like, "I'm sorry, Amy, but that was super American." I just laughed so hard because I didn't really think about it, but if you think about it, it's kind of crazy. I'm just gonna go microwave this frozen lemon for about 5 seconds. Okay, so butter, and let's melt it for about a minute. So this is very hot, but we have our melted butter over here. And since it wants 1 tablespoon of the zested lemon, this is actually a variation of the cheesecake recipe I have not seen yet, but I think it's really interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and just zest it in here, and then we can mix it all together. So it is only 1 teaspoon, so I think I'm gonna actually go ahead and take the liberty of just guesstimating it, since 1 teaspoon isn't actually very much. Oh, I love the smell of lemon. So this is really interesting because it's going to make the crust lemony as well. I believe there is a little bit of lemon in the cheesecake recipe itself. Cheesecake recipe that I make the most does also put lemon in the recipe, but what's interesting is that the vegan recipe that I've made before relies on lemon for that cheesecake taste, because it is vegan, so of course there's no dairy products in. But to simulate the taste of dairy and cheese, lemon is often used as well as vinegar. So that's roughly about 1 teaspoon, I'd like to think. So then it says to pour it into the bag here. I'm actually a little bit worried because this butter is pretty hot since I put it in the microwave, so I'm afraid that's gonna melt the bag over here. So I think just for good measure, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and put it in the plastic, but if not, I have my pan that's right over here to catch it in case it melts the plastic or anything like that. So I don't recommend this. I would probably say go ahead and mix it together in your food processor or blender if you don't have that. But I'm feeling a little bit rebellious, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. Okay, here we go. Hot butter. Okay, it's definitely not melting, so I'm just mixing it all like this. So then what you basically do is you press it into the pan like so. Okay, so I have the crust over here. I'm just gonna press it with my hands. Yeah, it's a good thing the butter wasn't boiling. It was just very, very hot. And then I think I really should have used the food processor because it's a little bit crumbly. But, you know, I'm doing it like the book says. So we have kind of like a little bit of a crumbly, think rock garden type of crust right here. But I actually think it's going to be pretty fun to eat. And then I guess the interesting part is they actually do want you to bake the crust. Another thing that I don't think it's had me do before, for about 10 minutes, and then you take it out and then you mix it in with the rest of the cheesecake. This is how it looks like now that I'm done with it. As you can see, it could still be crushed a little bit more, but I'm just gonna go ahead and pop it in the oven because I'm lazy and I'm curious what's gonna happen. So then it says bake for 10 minutes, then remove from the oven and set aside. So let's go ahead and pop this into the oven right here. It's already at 400 degrees, so I can just put it right in. So hot. And then set timer for 10 minutes. Okay, so now we can go ahead and make the filling. So according to the book, we're going to beat the cream cheese in the bowl of the stand mixer with the paddle attachment on medium speed for 2 minutes until smooth. So one thing I did need to get for this book is a stand mixer. So it looks like I actually won't need this after all. I have to go grab my stand mixer, which I put all the way up here because I haven't been using it recently. But if you don't have a stand mixer, this really can just be done in your bowl. I'm just gonna go ahead and I guess do a stand mixer so that you all can see it and that I can be true to the book. Okay, all right, and I just heard the beep, so let's go ahead and take the crust out. Wow, it's like all golden brown now. I love that. Cool. So now I have my lovely stand mixer right over here. And basically it just wants me to go ahead and put 4 cups of cream cheese over here. And so that is 4 cream cheese containers. So luckily I bought these in advance a long time ago. So basically, I just take this apart however I do. And just toss the cream cheese in here. Go ahead and lift this up first. Really precarious setup I have just to show you all how I'm doing it with a stand mixer. Okay, and then my 2-pack right over here. Gotta open this up too. So with the paddle attachment, which is right here, you're going to want to mix it on medium for about 2 minutes until it's completely smooth, and then you're going to add the sugar, the granulated sugar, and the salt, and then you're going to beat it until low speed until all of that's together too. So I think usually this sort of thing is supposed to prevent it from like all spilling out. So I'm going to try and put this over. I never actually completely understood how this is supposed to like work. This is, yeah, something like that. So let's go ahead and move it up to medium. So this is at about a medium, and then we're just going to want to stir it for about 2 minutes. Normally I would recommend that you do this on a stable desk, but since a stack of books is all I have, this is how I'm doing it. But don't do this at home, kids. And that's about 2 minutes. So then we're gonna go ahead and add the sugar and salt. So here's another variation in this recipe that I just noticed. Along with the salt, which is actually just a pinch of salt, it's also asking for 2 tablespoons of flour. All of the other cheesecake recipes actually haven't asked for any flour. So it's really interesting that this one is requiring just a little bit. So basically you're gonna dip into your all-purpose flour over here. And it's just asking for 2 tablespoons. It's 1, 2, and just a pinch of salt. I'm going to take some of my salt here. That's about a pinch. As for the sugar, you're going to want a lot of sugar. I almost made a cheesecake without any sugar, and I can only imagine how bad it would have tasted if there wasn't sugar in it. So you're going to want 1 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons. I'm going to go inside my granulated sugar here. Interesting how it calls for both confectioners and granulated, but confectioners is just purely for decoration. So this is, here we have 1, oops, I don't even know how to put this in. 1 cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons. By the way, the reason for the weird measurement, why it says, oh, like a tablespoon plus like a cup, and you're like, why didn't you just do like 1 1/2 or something, is because that these measurements are essentially converted from the metric system. So with the conversion, that's why you get really weird things, such as like, oh, you're gonna want 1 cup and 1/8 of a teaspoon. It's because it's converted exactly from like, oh, 200 milligrams of something like that. I found out because I have a German baking book and it has those weird measurements. I realized it's because it's essentially a European book. Here's my 1/4 cup. And that's everything, so you're just going to want to mix it on low. And it says until unincorporated, so I guess I'll just go take a look at when it's ready. Oh yeah, once you add that flour and the salt and the sugar, it gets so creamy on the inside. I'm really liking how it looks right now. I'm gonna go ahead and take my Cuisinart silicone scraper. I'm just gonna scrape down the bottom so that some of the stuff on top will go ahead and get mixed and incorporated. So then you're going to want to add the rest of the zest along with the lemon. So I'm going to go ahead and, oh man, I don't know if this can even do that. It's going to, whoop, all right, it's sliding off. There we go. And then so now we're going to zest the rest of this lemon here. Then we're going to juice it and we're going to add the yolks. It looks like I pretty much have everything here. I'll take my spoon and just make sure I get all of this delicious zest off. I love lemon zest. Lemon zest can actually be surprisingly sour though, so I did make the mistake once of adding too much. I was like, I'll just put the rest in here, and no, it made the topping way too zesty. So then you're going to want, while mixing it, to put in your 3 eggs along with your 2 egg yolks. So I'm going to be doing it while I'm mixing it on low. Let's go ahead and mix it on low, and then we're going to add the eggs. Alright, that's 1, 2, come on. I'm like hurting my fingers on the shell. 3. And then the hard part is actually getting the egg yolks. So I think the easiest way for myself is to put it in a bowl, separate it, and then with my hands pull it out. But I haven't always been able to do it right, so let's see if I'm able to do it. So I have the first egg yolk right over here. I'm gonna try and take it out with my hands. Oof, come on. Maybe I've had this egg for too long. Like the whites are like not slipping out. Come on. Go away, yolk. Aha! Now we have the perfect egg yolk right over here. In you go. Perfect. I think the trick is you want to have small rats instead of a big one so you don't disturb the yolk. Now as you can see here, we have another beautiful little baby yolk. In you go. Perfect. And now you can have eggs or make a face mask out of this or whatever you like. I'm just gonna set it over here on the counter. Wow, this is looking absolutely beautiful right now. And then after that, you wanna stir in the sour cream and the vanilla. I'm just gonna pause it for now. So you're gonna want 2 teaspoons vanilla extract. This time I'm actually not gonna guesstimate it. I always use the Mexican vanilla blend that I get at my local small grocery store. It pretty much is the same. I don't think there's really any difference. Plus, who's to say that non-Mexican vanilla is the normal kind, right? So that's 2 teaspoons. Now finally we're going to wanna have the cup and 1/4 of sour cream. So I have this brand new thing of sour cream right over here. Due to expire this month, so good thing that I finally use it. I don't really like the taste or smell of sour cream at all, so I don't use it with enchiladas or tacos or anything else that you would put sour cream with. But I do like cheesecake, so I always have it in my cheesecake. Alright, and now let's go ahead and stir, and we are almost done. Beautiful. I think that looks good to me, and now we're going to go ahead, take this whole bowl here, it's like all cold now, we're going to go ahead and pour it into the bowl. So I'll see you in just a sec after I do some cleanup. Alright, so now I have this lovely bowl of my delicious cheesecake batter, and we're going to go ahead and pour it over here. And this is so smooth and beautiful, you all. And I'm going to want to scrape it a little bit too to make sure that we get all of this in here. I'm literally just like, get in there, go! I hope this doesn't rise like crazy, because this is the most fill I've ever seen this pan before. Alright, so the next part is really important because the cheesecake can seep out, especially when you're having the bain-marie. So you want to make sure to get foil and line the sides here. In the past I haven't done this, and each time I have regretted it because it will seep through and then you're like, oh my god, my cheesecake is ruined. It's actually not, but still you probably want to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and get my aluminum foil. And you don't want to cover up the top, although I think some recipes I've seen have suggested that you do a little bit of a pie guard to prevent the top from over browning. I'm trying to figure out the easiest way to do this. Okay, let's wrap it like this. I'm just going to take little bits of foil and then line the sides over here. And I'm going to go ahead and prepare the bain-marie. Hi everyone! So in the time that I was trying to get the water to boil, and it is almost done boiling, there are a few changes. So first thing that happened was I found out I was stupid, and the Pyrex container that I bought specifically for the cheesecake, which I think I found out later, but then I forgot, it actually doesn't fit the container. I did look at the measurements and it just barely fits, but because there are some ridges here, it ends up not fitting. So I'm doing what I did before, and which does work, which is I'm putting it in my cast iron pan, which is big enough to hold this, and then you just want enough boiling water to just line this right here. The other thing I realized, which doesn't make any sense to me, is I'm looking at the instructions, and it says carefully place the cheesecake and foil into the baking dish with boiling water and bake for 15 minutes. Then lower the oven to 225 and bake for 50 minutes until the filling is almost set. But the thing is, the oven doesn't actually automatically go from 400 to 225. So I'm like really confused. I'm like, do I stop the oven and wait for it to drop to 225? But it doesn't actually do that automatically. Are like British ovens like magic or something? They just like suck out all of the hot air and then replace it. So I'm like super really fucking confused. I don't know what to do, but I think I'm going to attempt it. I mean, like, what? Do I like take it out and then like I wait for it to go back to 225? I don't fucking know. So I'm gonna attempt to put it back to 400 again. I mean, I guess if we have an overbaked cheesecake, we have an overbaked cheesecake. But the water is now ready, so I'm gonna go ahead and line this right here. This is pretty heavy, so normally I have my partner do it for me and put it in here. I'm by myself right now, so I think I can probably just do it myself. But anyway, the water is now ready. I don't need nearly this much water because now it's just a small container. I'm gonna go ahead and pour this in here until it's about halfway. Another recipe I have says to put cream of tartar, which is this powder, into the water so that it prevents discoloration. I'm going to skip that since this recipe doesn't say to do it. If you are worried about discoloration of your pan or something else, go ahead and put cream of tartar. And that's another reason why you want to have the foil so that it doesn't spill. But anyway, I guess I'll go ahead and wait for my oven to get to 400 degrees. And then I'll go ahead and drop it to 255 and then bake it for another 15 minutes once the 15 minutes is set. So I guess we will see. Oh my god, okay. That was really warm. I'm actually going to have my partner take it out the next time, so it is okay to ask for help. That was super heavy. I'm gonna go ahead and set it for 15 minutes. And so the way it's going to work now is after 15 minutes, I'm gonna drop the temperature to 225. And then after that comes the waiting game. So one problem with cheesecake is that it takes a super long time to make, which is why it's really challenging. And I recommend folks that want to make cheesecake to at least try making or baking something before this, since it can take a lot of steps. So essentially what you do is you turn off the oven and let the cheesecake cool and set for 2 hours without opening the oven door. Then you remove the oven and remove it from the oven and refrigerate it for 2 to 3 hours. And then finally you decorate it with confectioner's sugar and raspberries or whatever topping that you want to have. So basically it's going to take about like an hour's cooking time and then I think 2 hours resting time and then another 2 to 3 hours refrigerating time. So essentially this is going to be done probably around, how many hours was that? I'm bad at math. That's like 5 hours, so that's gonna be done roughly at about like 3 a.m. for me. So I don't know what the rest of my night is gonna look like. I have work the next day. So I'll check in with you all a little bit later. Maybe my makeup will be off, who knows. And then we will go ahead and try our cheesecake. I think for this cheesecake, it's probably fine to just go ahead and let it stay out there overnight. So I'll let you all make that call, but we'll find out what I'm going to do, and I'll see you all soon. Bye. All right, hi everyone, welcome back. So as you can assume, it is another day. It is actually almost 24 hours since the last time that I was baking the cake. So in short, what I ended up doing with the whole 400 degrees Fahrenheit to 225 degrees Fahrenheit was I ended up taking it out, waiting until the oven would go back to 225, and that honestly took, I want to say, more than 30 minutes. It took a while, and then I put it back. So I think what happened at one point was the 50 minutes ended where it was supposed to be at 225 and I didn't hear the beep, so I was afraid it might have overbaked. I'm not too sure. When I got it out, it looks fine. This is so beautiful. As you can see, it's actually very smooth, one of the better looking cakes. There's a tiny bit of cracking here, but that's all right. And then what I did, of course, was I let it stay in the oven with the heat off for 2 hours, and then I refrigerated it actually overnight. So I'm gonna go ahead and release the cake now and do a little bit of a test so you can see. So I'm taking some really hot water here and a cloth, and I'm just going to go over this here so that it unsticks it to the cold of the pan. What's even better is if you have a blowtorch. Yes, a blowtorch. That's a great way to get it to unstick. Since I don't have a blowtorch, I'm just using heat. I don't know how effective this is gonna be. Like, it's not super hot water. Go ahead and with the springform pan, the good thing with that is instead of like taking the cake upside down and just trying to like shake it down onto a pan, you can just basically release it here and oh shit, okay. The cheesecake has cracked. That's not good. Okay, shoot. Okay, it is cracking. What I'm gonna do now is take this knife and then kind of go over the sides here so that hopefully it splits on the sides but not on the oh my gosh, yeah, it's really stuck. I'm gonna try that one more time. Still cracking a little bit. Okay, all right, here we go. So here's the cheesecake. The top has cracked over here and then it's kind of messy on the springform pan. So I would say, even though the instructions don't have it in my book, if you can blowtorch it and get this side as hot as possible, that would be great. And then you're gonna wanna decorate it. So on my stack of books, I'm actually gonna take a little bit of confectioner sugar. So it said to decorate with raspberries and confectioner sugar. So I guess this is kind of the style that they have it in the UK. That's not super aesthetic. It kind of looks like mold, but I'm just gonna go ahead and let's go ahead and cut a piece. Oh, this has completely fallen over. I'm just gonna go take that. Let's get a big slice here. Wow, look at that. That looks amazing, the texture. All right, everyone, here's my cheesecake, and now I'm gonna go ahead and try on the first bite. It's a lot more lemony than some of the other cheesecakes I've had, which weren't vegan. All right, there we go. Once you get kind of more on the inside of the cake, beautifully soft and creamy. Crust is really good. I have to say, in terms of the recipe, it's still pretty close in style to some of the other recipes I've tried. Most noticeably, the Rose Levy Barenbaum recipe, which is the most common cheesecake method I use. It's also one of the most complicated ones and it requires you to refrigerate it overnight. That one is probably my favorite recipe. I want to say I think I like that one just a little bit better, but this is really, really close. And of course, I don't know if I did maybe over bake it a little bit, or I was supposed to basically stop the oven and then bake it for another 50 minutes at 225, but I had to leave it out for a good 40 minutes after that. But wow, I'm really glad I made this. This is absolutely delicious, you all. I really recommend trying this recipe if you can. Definitely make sure to look through all of the directions. Take notes if you have to on this video. But I think this is a great recipe, and taking the extra time to get all of the details. I'm gonna go ahead and eat the rest of this cheesecake. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give this video a thumbs up. Feel free to comment, subscribe to my channel if you really enjoyed this. I make other videos as well. I also have a makeup tutorial on the look that I was wearing earlier. And also uploaded my digital drag performances. So please give this channel your support if you can. And press the little bell button next to the subscribe for notifications so that you get notified the next time that I upload videos. And thank you so much again, and thanks for watching.